spring game, that's the only way we can get that taste out of our mouth by lining up and playing a football game. But I thought they did some good work, some good preparation, and we made some positive steps, positive strides.
Cornelio, just how much healthier he get over the off?
He looks much better. I think he's made a lot of improvement. Obviously, he can speak more of that than I can, but he looks much quicker and much more comfortable. He's had several extra practices now. He looks like he's in much better playing shape as well. So it looks good.
He was healthy enough to play against TCU, but Brad mentioned the other day, it shows the importance of practice. He's missed a lot of practice really going back to, getting hurt with the Missouri game. How do you think that impacted him at TCU?
I think it had a big impact. It's hard to play when you don't practice. I think that's improving over the years. He practiced some, enough to feel comfortable playing, but it wasn't obviously. We've seen Jared as best, all people in this room have as well. And my 2 years, I've seen him play very, very well. So he's got a whole other level you can get to, and we certainly need him to do that. But I think just getting in playing shape, getting more reps, I think he'll be a lot more comfortable in this next game.
I was going to ask you about the passing game. How important is it to get the intermediate and the deeper stuff going to help your run game?
It all works together. Run game helps the throw game helps the run game. Talked about that quite a bit in here over the last 2 years. We need to be clicking in both areas to really be have a chance to be very efficient on offense. And when you're not doing a great job in the pass game as we didn't do last week, it hurts your run game a little bit. And then obviously what it also does is push you behind the chains too much. And I think that was probably the bigger issue against TCU.
And bigger effort this week, I guess, to get Chase involved.
Yeah, Chase had a bunch of reps for the TCU game, and he's getting a bunch of reps now. As I mentioned before, obviously he's going to get carries and he's going to get touches. Look forward to watching him play. He's had a good week of practice, and again, being a true freshman, the more he practices, the more reps he gets, the more comfortable he is, and the more comfortable we are with him.
TJ's a guy that you guys always talk about trying to find different ways to get him the ball also. Is he back healthy and representing everything? Or?
I think he is. I think it's right now it's probably more of just a trust factor with everybody involved. Just when he does get an opportunity, he's got to go out there and do what he's supposed to do, and we've got to try to create more opportunities for him.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good defensive end this year. What are guys that have not? They're starting to be seniors.
Good players, 9 and 40. 40. They're both active. They're both quick. I think that obviously they recruited that type of athlete. They want explosive defensive ends. 40. Obviously, he created a lot of havoc in the UCLA game. He had a fumble. He had a couple hits on the quarterback, and the same with 9. Both those guys are. Active, and they play 46 in there some, and 2 comes in some. So their defensive line is very good. And, this is my 3rd year playing them. Defensive tackles are active. 92 is active. 88, and then 5. The Mac, I believe his name is. He's explosive. Comes off the ball. You got good get off. And you just look at them. Their defensive coaches get those guys to play extremely hard, and their defensive line will be a difficult matchup again this year.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. Closing out the 3rd and 4th segment, entering with a little Dan Enos audio. What Dan seems to think, they can make as far as personnel or changes. Not real drastic. Demetrius and I talked about that in our opening segment. But when you hear Coach Enos express to fan base, because I know Demetrius, there was a lot of people that left that stadium wondering why number 2 Chase Hayden wasn't more utilized in that ball game. But Dan has since then, in the previous 2 press conferences, come out publicly to tell a lot of the nation and Razorback fans that he is going to have more emphasis on Chase Hayden being more effective in the offensive game plan. Is that a good thing? And also, what type of pressure does that put on the other guys on that offensive side of the ball to want to step up?
I do think it's something that has to happen. I think Chase Hayden is too dynamic not to put the ball in his hands. I think he's a guy that can really make something out of nothing. A good change of pace back. I thought he's really playing the role that I was expecting TJ Hammons to do. So I'm really expecting or really excited to see how TJ kind of transfers over to that just receiver role instead of going back to that, kind of change of pace back, because Chase Hayden is really taking advantage of the few carries and the opportunities that Brett Bielema is allowing him to carry the ball. And I think he's really going to be kind of that X factor that we need. I don't think it adds any pressure on guys to really perform. I think it just really puts them in the comfort zone of doing what they know they can do. And I think Brett Bielema said it best last week. They don't need any guys to go out there being Superman. They don't need a Batman. They just need to go out there and do what they do at practice, because I can't say these guys do perform when it's time for practice. Now, I need that to translate over to the field this week. Again, I'm going to emphasize it. This is a critical game to the end point of the season with the teams we're about to play coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We said it in the offseason that October is going to be the gauntlet month, where they're going head to head with all of the top SEC schools. A lot of guys that we didn't think would be leading that SEC race is really leading it, like Mississippi State. So I think it's really going to be critical that these guys kind of start seeing a upward trending in the way the team is really meshing together.
Well, we had a chance to hear a part of Arkansas' football team that Demetrius said we hope is trending upward. And we caught up today with defense coordinator Paul Rhoads. And here's a little tidbit of just what Paul thinks needs to take place this Saturday.
Here in Northwest Arkansas. But matter of fact, I looked at it this morning about pulled out with my Hall shirts, and I can do that. Press conference today.
Questions for Coach?
Yes.
What's their, basically kind of little about their quarterbacks with another game under their belt? What look like?
I think his confidence has noticeably grown from his very first snaps through 3 football games. He's in the 3rd game. He made all the throws. He made the easy throws, the wide open throws and catches, and whether it be a hitch or a bubble route or whatever it was. And then he made big throws against press coverage and deep balls down the field. So his confidence is growing. He does a nice job of executing their run game, which obviously includes the quarterback as a piece of it. But now you've got a full complement of pass and run, and so it's quite healthy with victory, certainly.
What were the points of emphasis for you, just kind of internally here in the the points of emphasis?
Last week you're talking about fundamentals and improving upon our technique. I think there's a saying that goes, a team improves most from game 1 to game 2. I don't think you're limited to that. I think early in the season, you got a chance to make great strides and improvements every week, and especially when you're faced with an open week as early as we are. You get a chance to go back and focus on the fundamentals, and that's exactly what we did. We were not pleased with how we tackled, and so we spent time tackling as a full defensive unit on Wednesday and Thursday when we were dressed out in full pads. I was excited about how our guys came back to work yesterday, both in energy level and how they went out and executed. It looked like a team that was excited to get back to work.
Their running backs wins, and once they score with your take on them.
Splitting the reps, certainly they got 3 guys with over 30 carries on the season. 4, number 7, I saw while I was at Iowa State, and I have great respect for him, both as a runner and back then as a returner. Was very effective in the return game. We've seen 5 and know how effective he can be, how very effective he can be. And Bussy now has 30-some carries as well on the season, and all are doing a nice job of carrying the football, whether they go 2 backs or they rotate those.
That was Paul Rhoads, defensive coordinator at the University of Arkansas, caught up with him in today's midweek preview of the Texas A&M offensive, defensive for Arkansas's game plan. Demetrius, he made a big statement as I'm looking at the stats, and he's very correct. Travion Williams, 33 carries. Kendall Bussey, 32 carries. Keith Ford, 31 carries. For a respective 260, 209, and 140. I mean, that just goes to show what type of football team Arkansas is going to be facing, and what's pretty much going to have to be the emphasis. Can Arkansas improve on the running game? We've seen here in this past game versus TCU. Can the Razorbacks be a team going into a game knowing they're going to have to stop the run? Are they a team that, on that side of the ball, are more than capable, in your opinion?
Definitely, and it's going to be critical that they do stop that run because, also take a look at those receiving stats. You see, over 8 guys with receptions. That means he's not really scared to distribute the ball, and there's some guys out there that can really make some plays with the ball in their hands. And to have that three-headed monster just pounding away, you start seeing defenses cheat towards playing that run game. So it's going to be critical, like Paul Rhoads said, that they play fundamentally sound and disciplined, because tackling is going to be everything. With this three-headed monster that Texas A&M is going to be bringing, it's going to be guys that really are physical runners and run downhill and don't mind going head up with guys tackling.
Well, that's going to conclude our today's show of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. Brought to you here by Lindsay and Associates, with locations in Fayetteville, also 2 locations in Rogers. The segment and show is also brought to you by Locomotion, located in Fayetteville, just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And finally, I want to give a big thank you also to one of our sponsors, Fun City, located off the 412 bypass in Springdale, Arkansas. If you don't get a chance to catch us here on our live stream of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins each and every day, you can catch us on iHeartRadio as we podcast the top segment of our show daily from On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk on iHeartRadio. But until tomorrow, we got a big week, guys. We're going to talk about a lot of games here, a lot of big SEC games. Arkansas and A&M not the only one. They got a big game in Tuscaloosa, and I bet a lot of people didn't know it'd be versus Vanderbilt if you would have told us several months ago at SEC Media Day. Also, too, big games everywhere in the conference. Georgia, Kentucky, Florida. I mean, SEC will be alive and well this upcoming weekend. We'll get takes from multiple schools as well as Mississippi State. We'll talk about their big victory with Jake Wimberly of the Drive at 5. That's just part of the way the week's going. But we're going to get started on to tomorrow, and we hope you're here as well. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins. You guys have a blessed one.
Till 2024.